I think what I had sent, I don't know. I may feel differently. I don't know. Right now, I have to tell you, and I love you all. You are all, I mean, everyone I've taught has been wonderful. I get so stressed before teaching, and I don't know why. So I like starting Wednesday, I start getting panicky. So I sort of want to relax, but I do like it. So we'll see. Right now, it's June 10th. Some of the classes are continuing, some are finishing in June.
Well, you're imparting so much to us. You shouldn't be stressing.
I thank you, but whatever reason. As I said before, and you can, I want you to know, when I get up for an Aliyah to the Torah, I still get nervous. So that's okay. It's okay to be that way. I think a part of it is the awe of it all. And I think women feel it more than men, and maybe in future generations, they won't feel that way as much because they're so used to being able to do it. We all came from the time when we could not have an Aliyah to the Torah because we were women. So I don't know if that's part of it. The fear and awe, that's from the same word in Hebrew and in English. But that's okay. That's okay. Anyway. All right. So somebody had asked for the blessings before and after the Haftarah. So we're going to do that today. In Sim Shalom, it's 410. And Slim Shalom, it's 146. And Lev Shalem, 175. Okay. I'll wait till everybody has it, I hope. It's very interesting when you look at the page, and I guess I never really thought about it. Before the Haftarah, it's very short, and after, it's very long.
Very long.
What page on Sim Shalom, Judi?
Sim Shalom, it's on 410.
Thanks.
Okay, everybody ready? Okay, I'm going to do just the blessing, just the one before the Haftarah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bani bi. I'm so used to saying asher bachar banu. Asher bachar bin vi'im tovim baratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo Uv-Yisrael Amo Uvin Va Ha'emet Batzedek. Okay, and maybe we'll try to sing it later. We'll see. Anybody want to volunteer? Celia. And then we'll get Annalie after.
No, thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bin V'im tovim v'ra'ah.
No, it's not an ayin, it's a tzadi.
V'raza.
Yes.
Bahar bin.
No, you went up. V'ratza b'divrehem.
I didn't finish it. Bin v'im.
Rehem.
You're ahead of me. Rehem tovim v'raza v'di rahim.
Rehem.
Rehem. Variv Rehem.
Good.
He neimarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai habocher.
Habocher.
Habocher b'Torah.
Good.
Maseh of do.
No, go back after Batorah.
Torah, Uv, Moshe,
Good.
Avodo, Uv, Yisrael,
Again, no, say it again.
Uv, Yisrael. I know it's,
El. Yisrael.
Yeah.
Israel.
yeah,
Uv Yisrael.
Uv Yisrael, Amo,
Good.
Uv, Uvin, V'yai.
The yud goes with the e. It makes it easier. Okay. Uvin va.
Uvin
See it?
V'yai,
Good.
Ha'emet, V'zedek.
Good. It's a TZ, really, if you
I
could do that.
I can't do that because.
Okay, if you can, that's I just cleared it. It's the Z is fine. The Z is fine. Just clarifying. Just the difference. Do you see the difference between the ayin and the tzadi? The ayin, the
Yeah,
angled thing goes all the way to the bottom. It's in the tzadi, it's a halfway. That's the difference between the ayin and the tzadi. So they're very similar. But would somebody else like to read that part?
I'd like to try it.
Okay, Ann Lee had volunteered before. Eileen next, sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem ha'ne'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nevi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Fabulous.
Yeah, very
Fabulous.
good.
You're gonna embarrass us.
Thank you.
And what you
I don't
can
want
do
to embarrass.
also when you're in shul, you can do it to yourself when they're singing it. You don't do it out loud because I know we have people that do that and it's very disconcerting to the person that's doing the Haftara. But especially if you do the Haftara with them. But if you do it in your head, it will help you learn. Okay, great. Okay, now the bracha after the brachot, I should say. There, if you look and if you're in, I don't know the other books, but in the Lev Shalem it says bracha before the Haftarah and then brachot after the Haftarah because there's actually more than one bracha in it. So they said brachot after the Torah. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzur kol ha'olamim tzaddik v'kol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'oseh ha'medaber umkayem shekol divarav emet v'tzedek ne'eman atah hu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emanim Divarecha u'divar echad midvarecha achor lo yashuv rekam ki el melech ne'aman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai el hane'aman b'chol derachav. Okay, that's it. I'm just reading the first paragraph. Any questions? Eileen, you volunteered before. Would you like to read?
All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzur kol ha'olamim tzaddik b'kol hadorot ha'el ha'nimen
No. Look at the dots. Wait, stop.
ha'niman
Ne'aman, good.
ha'omer v'aseh hamdaber
Good.
umkayem shekol davarav emet v'tzedek Ne'eman Ata Hu Adonai Eloheinu V'na'amim
Good.
Daver of
No, read it again. Wait.
Devaraha.
Devarecha. Good.
Yeah.
Right, you see it? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're right. Devarecha. Good.
Devarecha v'daver.
No, look again at the stop. Look at the vowels.
V'davar.
Good. Good.
Echad. Mid v'rav.
No, look at it again and look at it again. Good.
Varecha.
Good.
Hor lo. Yeshuv. Rakam.
No, look at stop. Good.
Rekam.
Good.
Ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah.
Good.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'ne'eman b'kol daverav.
Devarav. Good. Good. You much smoother. No? Do you feel smoother, Eileen? You're reading words, not just letters in some of these spaces.
Right.
Yes. Joy.
Reading it out loud is certainly different than reading it. Just reading
And that's
it
why,
myself.
but I would love to have you practice. But when you practice, you should read it out loud. I have to tell you, that's what I did before this class, is I read these prayers out loud to try to see if I knew them, because I've never done Haftara since my bat mitzvah. So, but I hear it a lot, but it's different when you're reading it than somebody else.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, Joyce.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is or how is the relationship between the Torah reading, the Haftarah, and then is there supposed to be a connection with the Devar Torah to both of the other things? So I'm just curious.
Okay, that is clearly wherever you are going. First of all, the first part, yes, there is supposed to be a connection between the Haftarah and the Torah portion. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. When you have a bar or a bat mitzvah, usually that's one of the things they talk about when they give their Devar Torah, is how the Haftarah is connected to the Torah portion. The rabbi usually will do something that's connected, not necessarily when he or she does the Devar Torah. That's up to the people that are doing it. They teach the rabbis, I think they're supposed to, but sometimes not necessarily, and sometimes there's something that they want to talk about that might not be part. But yes, that's up to the people. But there is a connection. Sometimes it's more obvious than others.
Judi, I have a question.
Sure.
Well, it's a double question, really. Haftara, why does half mean half, or am I wrong on that? What does it mean?
Salak is peace. Half is, it'll come to me in a second. What does Haftara mean? I think
why
that.
Why is it called that?
I don't know exactly. I just know the Haftara is from the prophets, Nevi'im. So I don't know exactly what the word Haftara means other than the readings. Yes, Celia, you have a question? Do you have an answer for
I
her?
have an answer, because on page 175,
Okay, you looked and saw, what does it
Shalom,
say?
it says, today we read only from the Torah and the prophets. The latter reading is called the Haftarah, meaning the parting or the conclusion, and it usually complements themes in the day's Torah reading.
See, that's
It's
why you have
always-
to look at your Siddur. It's amazing what's in the Siddurim. I'm telling you, it's amazing what's in there. Thank
So
you, Celia.
So it's always from prophets?
Yes, that the Haftarahs are from prophets. That I knew. Yeah,
And what
it's
does
always
it,
prophets.
what does it mean, Devar Torah? Is that a take on whatever the reading is of the
Yeah,
Torah?
it's not necessarily the reading. It's just Devar Torah is teaching words of Torah. It's not necessarily on the
Is it
Torah portion. It
Are
just
they-
means that you're teaching, like if you have a sisterhood meeting, you're really supposed to do a Devar Torah before, because it sets the tone for the meeting, especially if it's a board meeting.
But it-
Um,
It doesn't, not a take on whatever the Torah reading is?
No, it's Torah in the big sense. It's not the specific reading for the week. I mean, usually on a Shabbos morning, it will be based on the Torah reading for the week. But you can, as I just said, you could do a Devar Torah before a board meeting. It doesn't have to be on Shabbos morning.
And it's just
you're
words of
reading- you're
wisdom
reading
or
the
words of
Torah.
teaching, words of teaching, or what is it? Words of wisdom?
Yeah, teaching. Torah comes from the word for teach. Like parents also come from the same root, actually, as Torah.
So it could be on any topic in Judaism?
It's usually about things Torah in the big sense, not like the Torah reading from that week, but Torah in the big sense.
And Devar means word, right? Like a word of teaching.
Word of Torah.
Exactly. Good. See, look at how much you know. You should be very proud.
Trying to figure it out.
It's good. It's great. It's great. Okay, so now let's keep going here, I think. Okay, I'm going to read 2 paragraphs because one is really short. Rachem al Tzion. We read that one. Did we read the second paragraph? We did.
No.
Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit hayenu v'aluvat nefesh toshiva bimhera b'yameinu Baruch atah Adonai misameach Tzion bivaneha. Okay, I will just read that. Somebody volunteer. Arlene.
Rahem al Sion ki he beit hayenu.
Good.
Villa alovat nefesh toshia. Bim heira b'yamenu baruch atah Adonai mishameha
Look where the dot is.
misa mehach
May
Sion.
ah.
Oh,
The only time that the vowel is before the consonant.
it's Mayak.
Yes, exactly.
Sion bivanecha.
Perfect. Great. You guys are really getting much more fluent, whether you know it or not. Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu be'Eliyahu Hanavi Avdecha Uvmalchut Beit David Mishkichecha Bimhera Yavo V'Yagel Libenu Al Kiso Lo Yeshev Zar V'Lo Yinchalu Od Acherim Et Kavodo Ki V'Shem Kodshecha Nishbata Lo Shelo Yichbeh Nero La'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Magen David. One of the things, if you ever get the Lev Shalem, and it was interesting, I think I told you last week that we had somebody that was on at a Torah bar talk, is in the Lev Shalem, they tried to be more matching of the real translation rather than making it poetic. So it's easier to find words if you're looking to see what a word means. It's easier in this book, the red one, the Lev Shalem, to find that, we all try to do that, I think. If we don't know what a word is, we look at the translation. So I just wanted to recommend that. Okay. Somebody want to read this paragraph? Somebody that hasn't read before yet? Faye? I know you can do it.
Yeah, I can try.
You can.
Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu Beheliyahu Anavi Avdecha ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך במהרה
Good.
יבוא ויגל ליבנו
Good.
על כיסאו לא ישב זר ולא יכלו עוד אחרים את כבודו כי בשם קודשך
Good,
נשבע.
Shachar.
Oh, קודשך, right. קודשך נשבעת לא
Yep. There's only one there. The ayin is silent.
Okay, nishbata,
Good.
right?
Yes,
Lo
perfect.
shelo ichbe nero leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai magen David.
Perfect. Yofi. Perfect. Do you read when you read the beginning, we read about Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet.
Right.
So it's,
Eliyahu Hanavi, right, okay.
and we sing that song sometimes.
Right.
Haftara, Eliyahu Hanavi,
Hanavi, right.
Eliyahu Hanavi. Okay. Enough singing. Okay, good. Al HaTorah, Al HaAvodah, Al HaNevi'im, Al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh. Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach. Yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Okay, welcome, Gail. Okay, and who's going to volunteer? Come on, you guys can read this. I'm telling you, you can read it. These words are not hard. I don't want to push anybody. Oh, who? I saw Arlene first, but then I'm gonna have you read after Anne-Lee. You can
Yeah,
read
I'm
it
not-
twice.
I won't read it all, I don't think. Al HaTorah v'al Voda
Good.
v'al HaNvi'im v'al Yom HaShabbat
Good.
Ha'aseh Shenata lanu Adonai Eloheinu du sha vilim no ha
But read it, just read the words they're together.
vilim nu ha
Yeah, perfect.
le kavod vi u
Good.
ultif ret
Perfect.
hakol Adonai Eloheinu anach nu modim lach var him
Good.
otak yi barak shimcha b'fi kol hai
Good.
Hamid.
Wait. After Kol, after
Ha.
the fee Kol Chai.
Timid.
Tamid.
Timid.
Tamid. Look at the vowels,
Oh, Tamid.
right?
Leolam Zayed Baruch Atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat.
Good.
I that I wouldn't do the whole thing. Yeah, but
You will be able to.
yep. I didn't think I'd
The
do the whole.
words are there. I do have to say it, maybe because I guess I'm familiar with the other ones too. These words are fairly easy to say, I think.
Yeah,
'cause
why
they're
is
not-
that? Are they
I don't
easier?
know. I just
I
find
don't
it
know.
very much easier to read
I don't
these
know, and I
than
don't
some of
know
the
it.
other ones.
I haven't known.
Part of it is
know
the Hebrew part of it is Hebrew as opposed to the Aramaic. The Aramaic ones are a little
It
harder.
seems to flow.
Um,
Yeah, it seems to flow better, but I want to say thank you to all the other students in the class to bear with me. Thank
No,
you.
we all have patience with each other. Nobody's perfect
did a good
here,
job.
and all of you are reading really well. So
Yeah,
nobody needs to.
They're very patient with me, so I really do appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Arlene, we're all learning, so we
That's
don't know what we
exactly
don't
right.
know.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, would somebody else like to read that paragraph? Annalee, you had volunteered. I don't want you to.
Yes, I'll do it.
Okay.
Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanaviim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'linucha lechavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mavarchim otach Yitbarach Shimcha Befi Kol Chai Tamid Li'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Yeah. Terrific. Terrific.
Thank
This
you.
is pretty easy. Okay. So now you're ready to do a Haftara,
No, you've got to do
or at least the
entire-
brachot.
The brachot, not the HaTorah.
Well, in the old days, I remember when we first had women doing Haftarot, but they did not do the brachot. Their father or somebody else did the brachot, and the girl did the Haftarah. So you're ready to do the brachot for somebody else doing the Haftarah. Okay, now I tell you why I picked the next one, but first I'm going to tell you to get to the page. It's very close to where we are now, I believe. In Sim Shalom, it's on page 402, Slim Shalom 142, and Lev Shalom 173. So it's pretty close to wherever you are now. It's called Birkat Gomel, and it should say that in your book. And the Lev Shalom, it's about 2/3 of the way down. This is something that the bracha that people say on being safe from danger. It says in the book that I'm reading on Lev Shalom. Generally, when people say it, it's because they had been. I'll give you an example. If you have an operation, sometimes, especially if it's a serious operation, you will say this afterwards because God forbid something could have happened and it didn't. If God forbid you're in a car crash, when you come back, you're healthy, whatever you say it. The other time that you say it is if you fly across an ocean. And that's particularly, usually it's Israel, because that's where people are going. And I guess because at some point in the history, that was very dangerous to go over an ocean. So it became that you say this bracha when you return, because you return safely. So this is something I think that I know we do in our synagogue. Occasionally you hear it. You don't hear it every week. And I'd like you to be able to say it too, if you ever have any of those. Hopefully it's only that you fly to Israel, not that you have anything bad happen to you. But it's nice to be able to say thank you that I survived and I'm okay. So I would like
Judi,
to.
I have a
Yeah.
question before you go
Yeah.
on. So can
Sure.
you do this individually, or do you have to have a minion to say that?
There is a response, first of all. There is a response to this. It's not that you only say it. If you look in your book, you'll see it says the congregation responds. So I don't know that there has to be a minion. That I'm not sure of, but there has to be a response. You don't do this on your own, like at home when I mean, you can obviously make up your own prayer. But it's not part of the liturgy. The liturgy has it as a response that you are coming to the congregation and acknowledging this. That's in this particular bracha. That's what it is.
Okay,
Yes,
Okay, but if
Emily.
you read Torah HaGomel, I don't see where it says,
Eh,
it's the
gonna-
one
I-
above that says, congregation responds.
Yeah, I'm going to, we get to that in 1 second. I really like that one too. I've never seen this before. This is if you're using Lev Shalem, and I'm going to suggest because we're going to start using Lev Shalem in some point in our synagogue, that we do that, because I really like it. That is, in fact, the bracha for something good. If something good happens, we should,
Okay.
be grateful. We all understand the
Yeah.
importance of gratitude. But that's not in most Sidurim, only in Lev Shalem.
Well,
But if you look,
Judy,
I'm just gonna read it, and then you'll see what I mean. For the first line for the Berkat Gomel, which is right after that one, Eileen, is
Judy,
Baruch. Yeah.
before you go further, isn't it usually they do that during the Torah service?
Yes. Well, you are. If you look at the bottom in your book, I assume, I know.
So that
Lev Shalem
means you have
altogether-
to have a minion then.
You're
Oh.
right. That makes sense. You're
Right.
perfect, because you wouldn't do a Torah service if there wasn't a minion, because you don't
Right.
take up the Torah. Thank you. I didn't think about it in that. Yes,
Yeah,
you do
it
it when
just
it
came
goes
to
out.
me,
In
yeah.
the same way as we do a Misha Berach, or we
Right.
do, I'll think about it in a minute. The one with somebody that's dead. What do you call that? Oh my God.
Kaddish.
No, not Kaddish. there's a
Mishabera,
special one.
Mishabera. The
Misha Berach, I
Mishabera.
said that, but
Oh.
oh my God, it'll come to me. The other thing when it's
Are
your
yours
day for
done?
somebody, you do with the Torah. It'll come to me. Anyway, it's during the Torah service because we're holding a Torah when we do it. Yeah, okay. Yes, we have a minyan because it's during the Torah service. Good. Okay. But let me just read it and you'll see in your book too, I'm sure. The person that's coming to the Torah that wants to say, usually you do it after usually you get an aliyah when you're going to do this, Berkat Gomel, you get an aliyah, and after you say this, after you have your aliyah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel l'chayavim tovot shegmalani kol tov. Okay. Then in the Lev Shalem it says we respond for a male and we respond for a female and then we respond for a group. Okay, I don't know what it says in the other book. So there is a response.
In the Slim Shalom, it has like the male word and the female word
Right,
in
exactly.
parentheses.
Right. So that's the
Thank
the
you.
response that we give. I realized that this is what I decided when I was looking at it this morning, actually, that for the first person, there really isn't a difference between female and male. Honey, here, but when we respond differently, and you can see the endings are different. Mi shegamalcha, excuse me, shegamalcha or shegamalech, the male and the female. And it's the same with who, yigmalcha or yigmalech. That's the female ending. Okay, so it's mi shegamalcha kol tov hu yigmalcha kol tov sela. Or for a female, it's mi shegamalech, excuse me, kol tov hu yigmalech kol tov sela. Okay, so if you have to respond, so I'd like somebody to do that. Somebody want to volunteer? They're short, not so easy. That is easy off the tongue, Celia, as the other, but start from the Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel
Good,
l'chayavim
Good.
tovot
good,
shegmalani
good.
kol tov
Kol tov, good. Kol
mi
tov. At Yep.
shegmalcha kol
Good.
tov hu yigmaleka
Malcha.
kol tov selah
Good.
mi shegmalcha Leka,
Vech,
Molech, Kol Tov, Hu, Yig, Yigim, Lek, Lak,
good.
Kol Tov, Selah,
Kol,
Kol Tov, Selah,
good.
Mishek, Mal, Chem, Kol, Kol Tov, Hu,
Kol Tov,
Yig, Mal, Hem,
good.
Kol Tov, Selah.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, anybody else want to volunteer? This is short. Nobody's volunteering. Okay, I'm not gonna push you. Okay, good. So you should know it, first of all, because you may have to respond anyway, even if you are not the person doing it. So I'm glad, I'd like to do that. Okay, so that is the only new stuff I put down for this week. First of all, before we lose our time, is there anything, I'm trying to be responsive, I can look and see if there's anything I think, but is there anything specific prayers that any of you would like to do? Or that doesn't have to be a prayer, it could be a song, it could be whatever you want. Yes, Susan.
I may have missed the class, but the prayer before a meal, or did we already learn that?
Before is pretty easy, but we could do that. After is more long.
Okay, maybe,
But you mean the motzi or you mean
no,
after?
the after
That's
one
what
where
we
everybody
did
has.
do it, but I would like to do it. I would like to do it again. We're gonna do the short version. I'm going to ask, hopefully, maybe I'll have to send it out. If you have the short version, it's a card from Women's League and United Synagogue put out, or if you have a Women's League calendar diary, it's in that. If not, we're gonna have to figure out how to do it. I might not be next week because I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it. How many people have either one of those things? Either the card, Celia, anybody else, or the calendar diary? Okay, I'm gonna have to
Will
figure out how
that be
to.
the new one coming out?
Any of the Women's League calendar diaries, it's in.
Okay, because I ordered the one for this coming year and they said it's gonna get mailed out after Memorial Day.
Yeah, okay, but I'm going to see if I can figure out if Women's League has it online, has it available as a document, and I will send it out. The
Thank you.
reason I want to do that one, and the reason what I'd really like to do it also, is we were talking about the convention coming up in the summer of 23. And Women's League does the Birkat Hamazon after meals. And it is the short version we usually do, as opposed to the long one. And there are differences in the different short versions. So I'd like it to be the one that we do at Women's League. And I'd like
Thank you.
everybody to come to convention, so that we can, and I'd like you to be able to do it. Yes.
I have this one here, and on the back, it says Women's League for Conservative Judaism, but it also says United Synagogue of
And-
America, the Rabbinical Assembly,
And the-
National Federation of Men's Club. Is
Yes,
that
yes,
the one
that's
you're
the one.
talking about?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. And you
Okay.
open it up, there's three up, it's a trifold, or that's really old. Is it a
It's old.
trifold or a double? No, that's our
Double.
old one, sorry. That, I don't know if it's different, I don't have that one. The one we have now is a trifold. It's great, it has a background of a picture of Israel behind it. So I'm gonna see if I could get the docket, be able to
Okay.
send it to you so that we all have the same one.
Thank you.
A lot of it is the same as any other short version, but it's not exactly the same. So I'd like us to be on the same page, as it were. So I will do that. Thank you. Good. We did do it before, but we will do it again. Yes, Eileen.
Judy, can we, if we have time, can we do the blessings before the wine on Saturday? Not the one on Friday night, but on Shabbos day.
Yes. Kiddush. That morning. Yep.
Thank you.
Good. Anything else?
I'd
It
like
could
to
be a song.
learn,
It could be anything in Hebrew. Yes, Susan.
I'd like to learn, but maybe we did it and I missed, because of work, is, there's a prayer for wish, for traveling. like before you travel or wishing someone to travel, it's called the Hebrew travel prayer or something?
Yeah.
Do you know
Yep,
what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yes,
Thank you.
it's interesting because I don't know if it was adopt, or whether it's that one that they actually used. It's for like going to college because it's a
Oh,
going to a new place. Okay, these I'm gonna figure out. Okay, anything else? That can be anything in Hebrew. Okay, so so far we'll work on that and then I'll see what else we can find. Okay, now we have a few minutes. I'd like to review something. Who wants to pick? Somebody gets to pick what they want to review. Anybody gonna do that? Or else I'm gonna have to do it.
Take the Torah
Arlene, you
out.
have what?
Take the Torah out.
Take the Torah out. Okay, good. I have that.
Okay.
Page Sim Shalom, it's 394. Slim Shalom, it's 139. And Lev Shalem, it's 168. Taking out the Torah. Yeah, one of the things they also did, which was interesting, and she mentioned in the Lev Shalem, is at the bottom in the Sim Shalom, it says Shabbat and festival service, or weekday. But in the Lev Shalem, it says what part of the service you're in. So it'll say when you do it, when we're on this page, it says Shabbat morning service, Torah service. So you can sort of figure out where you are in the service. So, okay. I don't make any money on this Lev Shalem. So just so you should know, I'm not, I just think it's very impressive how much stuff is in it and the thoughtfulness. And by the way, the next book that they're putting out is going to be the weekday of the same series of the Lev Shalem.
You mean for minions during the week? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and hopefully it will take less time than this one took. I just think sometimes people come out with a new edition just because they want to sell more books, but I think that they were very thoughtful and it really does add a lot to your understanding and your appreciation of the service of what they did with this book. Anyway, okay. Hotza'at HaTorah. Taking out the Torah. Ein kamocha ba Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha. Malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha v'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz La'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Gonna volunteer. And Emily's right there. Thank you,
I have a
Emily.
question.
Yes.
The first line, Adonai is written out. Adonai, Aleph, Dalet, Nun.
Where are you? Where is it written out?
Page 168, Lev Shalem.
Oh, Adonai. Okay.
It's written out.
Okay,
But then-
because this is good. This is very good. Because it is pronounced the same way as Yud Hey Vav Hey, but it's not the same word. Adonai means my Lord, and it can be my Lord actually small L or God. Adon is Lord. So Adonai is really a word. We don't know how to say Yud Hey Vav Hey. So we say Adonai, but it's not the same word.
Oh,
It's
really? Oh,
both refer to God, but it's not the same word.
for goodness sake, I never noticed that before. Okay.
Judi,
And you'll see Adonai in other times also, but more frequently you see the Yud Hey Vav Hey because that's our name for God. Yes, Susan.
isn't there, and I think it might be in Christianity, but I'm not sure, a word Yahweh or Yahweh?
Yahweh. Yeah.
Because if you look at Yud Hey Vav Hey and you try to read that,
Yeah.
That's where you
Okay.
get Jehovah, Yehovah. That's what it looks like. That's how they got Jehovah, from Yud He Vav He. But we do not know how it was pronounced. That's the big thing. We don't know. Jews do not know how to pronounce it. The
But
Christians have,
Christians do, and they say Jehovah.
because if you look at the consonants, you can see how they get it.
Yeah,
But
but
we
why do
don't. We
we
say
not? Why do we not?
we say we don't know how to pronounce it, and that really is the only name of God. When people write G-D, G-O-D is not God's name. God's name is Yud He Vav He, but we don't really know how to pronounce it, so we say Adonai.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, see, we learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Now we can go to sleep.
Is that out of
I had
respect? I'm
What?
sorry, is that out of respect that we shouldn't tread too familiarly?
It's talk about God's name, and when you talk about your name, that's you, and it's so holy, and for whatever reason we lost it along the way, and we don't at this point we don't know how to pronounce it. So like some people will say Hashem instead of when it's Yud He Vav He, they'll say Hashem. They'll put G-D. Neither one is necessary as far as I'm concerned, because that's not God's name. But when anything, it used to be that anything that had Yud He Vav He on it, you couldn't recycle. You had to treat it. It had to be buried. But we've changed now. I think the Committee on Jewish Law and Standards says that if it's just a Xerox copy, whatever, you can actually throw it away. You can recycle it. But anyway, that is yeah.
Sometimes people say, I'm sorry to, but on
That's
this
okay.
same path, I've
Yeah.
heard people say Baruch Hashem, like
Yeah.
somebody has good news. So I did
Name,
well in
it's
my
name.
operation.
That's what I said. Sometimes they'll say Hashem instead of saying Adonai. They'll say Hashem, and I go even further than that. They'll say Elokeinu when it's not praying, when it's singing or doing it, whatever. Instead of saying Eloheinu, they'll say Elokeinu because they don't want to say God's name. And it's not really God's name as far as I'm concerned. But it's building offense upon offense upon offense.
But Shem, right?
What?
Doesn't Shem, the word Shem as a word means name?
Name. The name. Yeah, Hashem is the name.
Hashem is the name.
The name,
Yeah,
but
if
that means
you
God?
do any name, well, Shem is name, but Hashem is the name,
Meaning God.
BT, yeah, Hashem is always God. Yeah, that is correct. Okay,
Very
so
interesting.
so Susan, you want to read?
I don't have the stuff in front of me. I looked online and there's too many translations. I don't have that book, but I'm going to buy Lev Shalem because you've convinced me. I want to own it.
Well, I just think it's not. I think it's worthwhile as a teaching tool. Honestly,
I really want to learn it, but I don't have the book. Let someone else
okay.
read.
You
Thank
have no Siddur. Any Siddur will have the taking out of the Torah.
I
This is
have.
the very beginning of the Torah. Oh, you have the Krach Shabbat. That's Friday night. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's
Don't
Friday
worry.
night.
I'm
Okay.
listening and learning.
Okay, good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
somebody else then. Eileen,
Okay.
and then Celia.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai v'yein kamosecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim.
Eileen, if you look, stop. Maybe put your head up. I can't. I hear every other word. I'm not hearing you.
Oh, you want me to start over?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai v'yein kamosecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam vayed Adonai o leomo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
Great. I don't know if we read the next one, but you can read it, Eileen.
Okay. Av harachamim hetiva
Good.
Soncha, Zion. Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim Ki Vecha Lavad Batafnu. Melech El Ram Venisa Adon Olamim. Adon Olamim.
Good, fantastic. Anybody else want to read that? You can.
I thought
Good,
Celia
Eileen.
volunteered.
What?
I thought Celia volunteered. Didn't you, Celia?
Okay, Celia, it's up to you then,
Can I do the last part?
if you'd like.
V'yehi hai he bin su ha'aron va yo mer Moshe ko ku ma Adonai ve'yafuzu no
Oi,
oi no oi ve'ka
good,
Rebecca ve'yanasu misa'an eka
good,
mifaneka ki mitzion taitse Torah ud var Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael bikrusha
good, perfect, perfect. And if you look at a lot of this Hebrew is words you know also. Being Vayhi being so Aaron Vayom Moshe. You hear that Vayom Moshe a lot. And God said. And again, we talked about Devar. There's Devar is here also. Same meaning. The Devar Adonai, the words of Adonai from Jerusalem. Good. Anybody else want to read that part? Come on, guys. Okay, Arlene. You got it.
Which part? The second part?
Whatever you like. Yeah, sure. As we rise, as the ark is opened.
Okay. Vahi,
Vayehi, because it has the
Va-
dots under the yud, so you have to pronounce the yud.
Vayihi, bin Soa,
Good.
Rome, Vayomer Moshe,
Good.
Hu ma Adonai Fu su Yevecha.
Oivecha. The O
Oi.
is on top of the aleph, so
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
the O sound.
I didn't see the oi. I didn't see
Yeah.
it. Oi,
Yeah.
oi, vecha. The nu su misa necha
Good.
mi pi necha
No, look at the vowels.
mi panecha
Good.
ki mitzion te se Torah ud var Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael bitu shato.
Okay. Now I'm gonna sing it, and you're all gonna sing it, but you're gonna sing it either silently or you're gonna mute yourself so you can sing it out loud, because we can't all sing it out loud together or we will go crazy. So since this is sung and I think we can all do it, we're gonna try it, and then we'll hear how it really sounds when we take out the Torah. Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kamasecha. I remember my singing is perfect. Malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha v'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz la'amo yitain. Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Ava rachamim etiva b'rtzoncha et Zion. Tivnech omo Yerushalayim kivecha levad batachnu. Melech el Ram v'nisa Adon Olamim. Now we open the ark. Vayehi binso Aharon Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha ki mitzion Tetzei Torah, ki mitzion Tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah. Torah le'amo, I can't lose it, I lost the tune. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Okay, I lost the tune. Okay, great. And when you go to shul this week, you can sing it along, and I know you can. Every one of you can sing this. Okay, and it's also, yes. Question, comment, it's 11:03. Joyce, yes.
I'm just reminding everybody to go to the Israel parade on Sunday. Bring lots
Sunday.
of water because it's going to be hot. But we're going to be
Yes.
there. Very hot, but we're going to go and march.
Good for you. Good for you. Please, you'll tell us about it next week.
Where is it?
In New York.
It's on
You're not
Fifth
in New York,
Avenue in
sorry.
Manhattan.
I don't know of any other city that's doing it this week. I don't know if you have Israel parades, but this week is the one in New York. Okay, anyway, please, everybody, thank you for everybody
Thank
that
you.
participated,
Thank
all of
you.
you.
Good
you.
job.
Shabbos.
And
Thank you.
good Shabbos to
Shabbos.
everyone.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Be
Wonderful
well.
class as always.
Judy, I have a question,
Sure.
but it's on Friday night services when they sing Shalom Rav, and then they go Shalom Rav, Kol Yisrael, Tasim Leolam. But there are words in between, and my cantors, all the cantors I've heard, do not say the words in between. And when I keep asking, they just keep saying, "Oh, those words were added later," but they're not said, and I'm getting really confused about that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that, and
Okay,
then I'll get back to you next week. How's
Fine.
that? Okay,
Great
as long as I
class.
get some
Thank-
answer.
we'll work
Thank
on
you.
it. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
See you
shalom.
next week.